Hi, this is Pearl and welcome to my channel. So I have a simple but quick layout for you today. I'm using the Felicity Jane Taylor kit and I'm doing a layout about my son's 12th birthday, and I'm using a T-ruler just to measure out where I'm going to be placing the photo because I want to do some sewing on there. You'll see I took these, they're not quite branding strips, but they are from the piece of paper that shows what pictures are, what cardstock is in the kit. I cut those up and I'm going to use them on this layout. Now I'm using the We Are Memory Keepers typewriter typecast, and I am going to do my journaling on here. And I wrote, "This year has been bad for birthday celebrations. This year you opted for money as a birthday gift instead of having a party. You are saving your money to buy a gaming computer. At the last minute you asked if you could have the Tams and Gordons over to play in the backyard. Good thing everyone was free. They came over to hang out with you the day before your birthday. They came with their electronics and you all sat inside the trampoline playing Among Us." So it's funny because they play Among Us when they're each at their respective homes and they play together, but they also played it. They all sat in the trampoline in a circle and played it together as well. They've also played this physically, not just via video games as well. So I like that they were all together outside doing stuff, even if they were on their electronics. And I let that be because it was his birthday. So after I type this, I'm going to take the white cardstock out. This is Basil white cardstock, and I'm going to erase the pencil mark that I have on there. And I decide I want to add a little bit more texture. So the texture I'm going to add is from a stencil. It is called Distressed Blocks. It's a vintage type of a stencil, and I will have that linked down below in case you're interested in purchasing this. So I'm going to use a stencil and I'm going to use embossing paste, and this one has a glaze over the embossing paste so it's a little bit shiny. Now I know that not a lot of it is going to show, but I am bringing it to the edge of the paper so that the edge of the paper has that, and I'm just going to use my Felicity Jane box as to protect my pad. So this is the Wendy Vecchi embossing paste. You can use any embossing paste. And I take a spatula and I just grab some of this here you see, and it feels like marshmallows, melted marshmallows. And I'm just going to put that along, and it doesn't have to be precise because a lot of it's going to be hidden by the photo. So I just bring it along to the side because I do know I want it on the side and the bottom of the photo. And I thought maybe I would have some of it showing on the top, but I end up putting my photo above where I put the other embellishments. So make sure you clean off your stencil and your spatula right after you use it, or else it will dry on there. So you see it adds extra texture, and I'm just showing you that this is the Taylor kit that I'm using. So I cut all these strips out and I'm folding them in half. I've used this style before and I really enjoy it, and I like using these pieces of paper for the layouts. And I have 5 or 6 different albums going at once, one for each of my kids, a Project Life album, and then an album for just family stories. Well, and then I guess I have an album about me as well. So even if I do the same kind of a layout, they all go in different albums, so it's okay if you're lifting them off yourself, you know what I'm saying? So I'm taking a little bit of the kokuyo adhesive, which is a roller dot adhesive, and I am adhering it to the back of these little strips because I am going to sew down the middle of all of these using my sewing machine. And I just want them a little bit wonky, not perfectly straight, and I decided to do it this way because I want to add some texture. So you can see there that I did sew in the middle of these, and then I'm folding them back up because I want to have that texture of the folded up strips. So after I do that, I'm going to start layering my photos, and I'm using the kit and whatever's left over from other portions of my layout, and I'm using my Caterpillar Pro to cut these. And so I'm going to be layering or formatting this with the olive green polka dot. Then I'm going to use scraps other leftover scraps, and I'm just going to start layering it down. Now I do love to have just pieces of the paper showing, but what I try to do is not have too many of the same small embellishments or big embellishments right next to each other or right behind each other. And I like to have the contrasting colors as well. So I'm using my ATG gun, and you'll notice that I always put the adhesive right in the middle so that I can also pop up the different layers, so that gives extra dimension as well. So I'm layering the red and white gingham, and then I also had the flower, white flower behind the olive, and I like to have it just not so that not any of my edges match up, because that gives it more visual interest and it's not too much of a straight line. But you'll notice when I end up putting my photo down, I'm having the title go where my son's face is, so that it directs the eye to his face, and it's a way of bringing visual interest to your layout. So even though I have all of this up here with all the different strips, it still brings the eye to his face. Do you see how I have that like a T design? I did use a Tombow Mono multi-adhesive for this because I do have the texture from the back from the embossing. Now I'm using the Stampin' Up! Foam Dimensionals to pop up some of the edges to give it even more dimension, because I do like to look at my scrapbooks and also feel the different dimensions with my hands. My girlfriends say I look at scrapbooks by Braille, even when they are in the page protectors. So I like to do that. So after I put some Stampin' Up! Foam Dimensionals to the corners of the pictures, I am going to use the title 12 because it's his 12th birthday, and I'm using the alpha set that came with the kit. Now some of the adhesive came off the E, so I'm using my fine line and my Scotch quick dry adhesive to adhere the E from the 12, and I'm going backwards because I want it to be right justified. So I spell out the word 12. Then I'm going to use my Nuvo drops, and I do love my Nuvo drops. I have so many colors, and I'm using the color Gold Luxe, and I'm going to put that into 3 areas to bring visual interest, because the triangles like to bring visual interest. So I'm going to put 3 dots in 3 areas, and I'm using my One Canoe 2 date rotary date stamp and black ink to put the date down there. And then I'm going to put the dots on there, and then I call my layout done. I hope you enjoyed this video, and it's super simple, something that you guys could lift right away. Thank you so much for joining me. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to give me a thumbs up, subscribe, hit that notification bell so you know every time I upload a new video, and I'll see you next time.